Tomassi are a experimental hardcore mathcore band from the UK, and they really kind of bring a unique flavor to the genres that they've been attached to, even though it is very kind of hard to pinpoint exactly where they stand, because they've transitioned a lot throughout their albums and in songs. They just kind of throw everything at you, more in lines with, say, I Wrestled a Bear Once than, say, Converge in terms of their mathcore, I guess. And they're not quite as harsh as anything I Wrestled a Bear Once does. They generally bring in a little bit more poppiness to their albums and things, but they're just so all over the place with everything, which makes them great. And again, it makes them unique. Even amidst other bands and other great names, they're kind of often dismissed, or a lot of people don't really know about Rolo Tomassi, even if you are a fan of genres like that. But they do really manage to stand out with their first couple albums, and they've been through a few lineup changes and some rough patches here and there, but they've delivered Grievances, which is their fourth studio album. Now, the band this time around has really shown some signs of progress with their sound. It's not quite as harsh as anything that they've done, and it also, again, it just manages to defy expectations in terms of what genre or what sound you're really expecting from the band. They're not willing to be tied down to just one single sound within an album, even within just a song. I mean, the album kicks off right away with a very aggressive track with screaming and blast beats and just the just out of control guitar riffs on here. And then you get songs from that where they're much softer. They kick in with violins and soft singing. And then you get songs that will start off something like that and then transition into something softer and go right back into it. You get songs that sound more like akin to death metal on here, or grindcore, and then you get songs that are more poppier as well, or just it's really hard to explain without actually listening to it. It's just definitely a great album to listen to, and a great band in general. You know, there are, like I said, there are songs that go back and forth between the clean and the screaming, like Crystal Cascades, for instance, is one that does that. And I think also the vocal work on here is improved in general. The guttural screaming on here is just absolutely ear-piercing at times in a good way. I mean, it's just amazing what they can do with their voices. It is a brother and sister team, actually, who are taking over vocal duties, and they just kind of bounce off each other in a very, very good way. It's something I like listening to. Now, the one thing about this album I will say, especially in comparison to previous works, is it's a much more somber and moody album in general. It feels darker, it feels more oppressive. It doesn't quite feel, while there are songs and moments that kind of bridge into poppiness, overall the album just generally doesn't hit those points. At least definitely not as much as they did previously in their other albums, where there were kind of moments of danciness to them. There really aren't any of those moments on here. It's more aggressive overall. That's not to say it really lacks anything from what they've previously done, or that it's not as good as anything they've done. It's just a complete different take on what the band does, and I think it's a little bit more straightforward in terms of what it does. I mean, it lacks that kind of callousness and disregard for the rules. It feels more refined in a lot of ways, and kind of confined in some ways as well. So overall, Grievances is a fantastic effort from this band. It feels like they've kind of matured a little bit, that they've grown up a little bit, but they still are willing to kind of push the boundaries and push themselves. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment down below what you think of this album, and subscribe to the channel for more.